Hey everybody, my name is Josh, joshallmusic.com. This is the Shavasana Kitty YouTube channel, and today's lesson is really a philosophical lesson called Thought is the Enemy of Flow. And this is a kind of a generic statement that you hear especially amongst the meditation community and also within the improvisational community. And that the idea is that when you're really in it, when you're really in and attentive and aware, thought seems to disappear. You might be aware of the thought, but you let it go, and you're focused entirely on what it is you're doing. And this gets misunderstood when you're a beginner or an intermediate learning to play, and you think that you watch somebody and they just seem to be doing something effortlessly. And the misunderstanding is they must be talented to just be able to do that. They're not thinking, they just look so effortless. And what you're really seeing is the results of very focused practice. And I'm going to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, in that there's a difference between practice and playing, and practice to get to flow. So here is a practice that I do where I'll play 5 major scales in a single position. So like, let's say it's second position, and I'm going to play C, G, F, D, and A major scales. I'm going to play these. I'm not going to practice them. This is playing. Ready? And... All right, so that was just playing. If I wanted to practice, I might say, okay, look at when I was in that D major scale, I want to make sure that I'm really focused on what my fingers are doing. I did 2 things. First, I slowed it down. I paid very close attention to the movements of my fingers, what notes they were actually hitting, and I made sure that when I was picking that I wasn't just using one type of stroke, I was up and down and alternating. The goal there is to ingrain a particular movement within my hands so that when I just play, it happens. If I go too fast, it will reveal to me where my practice needs to be honed and I need to focus. All right? That's where when I'm playing, when I'm flowing, the stumble might happen. I go, whoa, I need to practice that. That's like an assessment. Now let's take, for example, I'm playing a little thing, and I've got my jazz bossa nova, and I'm going, okay, cool. I'm gonna play, the minor 3/7 chord over this. Well, in G major, that's like a no-brainer. I've played that a bazillion times. But I take my iReal Pro, and this is another practice. I click on this, and I go, okay, well, how about not G major? Let's do D flat major. How often do I play in D flat major? Not very often. So I might think in my head, I'm like, okay, I got these chords. I know how to play D flat. I know how to play B flat minor. I know how to play G flat major and A flat major. I got to improvise over this though. In the moment, in front of people, what am I going to do? I go, well, I'll play the 3 minor 7 chord over that. What's that? F minor 7? Cool, let's go. And then I'll hit the button and it'll start rocking. Oh yeah. And then I can take a very safe solo in front of an audience. I know exactly what I'm going to do, but I was flowing, not thinking. Why? Because I practice. Because I practiced playing those things. It's not like I've never gone in my life. I've done that a million times. It's not like I've never done that a million times. You know, if I want to sweep through, I've done that a million times. Well, maybe not a million, but a lot of times. And I've done it in a lot of different keys. I'll hit this and I'll go, let's do another one. You know, let's do it in A, let's do it in B flat, whatever. This is a great tool. iReal Pro, I highly recommend this. If you want to learn to flow, learn a key really well and then pick a new one. You just do that. Just do that. You will, that starting of the practice of learning where you are on the fingerboard, learning what notes work, what notes fit, how they fit, when they fit, that is when you'll start to flow. I say, yeah, you might be able to get by with like a pentatonic, like ladder box or whatever they're calling it these days. You sure, that'll work. And you can kind of play by feel or whatever. Then someone shows up and says, hey, let's play in this key. And you're like, what is E flat? Well, that's why you practice. That's the practice. And so thought is the enemy of flow. How do you get rid of thought? Practice so you no longer need to think. And then you're flowing. If I look at a chord chart and I have to think, what does E flat major 7 mean? I'm already lost. So I have to practice so that I know what that means. I'm not thinking anymore. I'm just playing. And if I'm reading that, understanding reading comprehension, right? You've read a book and now you've got, what's the main idea of the story? Well, if I'm reading a chord chart and I'm seeing the chords and I can play the chords and I'm like, oh, what does those chords mean for me soloing wise? That's comprehension. And the faster I can come to that place, the faster I can flow. How do you get there? Practice. Lots and lots of practice. Anyway, if you thought this was helpful, useful in some way, like, comment, subscribe. All right? You might find my newsletters helpful, joshhallmusic.com. There's a link in the bio or description, or whatever it is in YouTube. Have a good one. We'll see you.